But like, it's ridiculous that they sat in that room with those hats in display so that Donald Trump could make a mockery out of them and belittle them even further. But they haven't made that big of a deal of Donald Trump
shut off in the middle of a hurricane season. Chuck Schumer is leading the Democrats off a cliff, and it's very simple. Everyone now knows why. He's trying to fend off a challenge from his far left in his party for his next Senate race. That's why he's done it. Chuck Schumer voted for this exact product in March of this year.
Mr. Speaker.
And every year that he's been in Congress, which is more than half my life.
Mr. Speaker, I'm curious about the implications of there not being a deal. The subsidies that support the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, used by more than 20 million people. They've come to depend on them. If those subsidies go away, healthcare premiums will spike. Some people will choose not to go on insurance. Bernie Sanders is arguing some people are going to die as a result. Are Republicans trying to topple or effectively topple Obamacare without outright saying so?
No, this is an absolute.
Oh, really? No, you say. No, not at all. We just want to make sure that it is so costly because we cut the funding mechanism that impossible to stay on your health care coverage.
100% red herring. Everyone in Congress knows, and the Democrats know as well, even the ones making this crazy argument, that that is a provision that does not expire until the end of December, December 31. We are in the beginning of October. They're trying to make a December policy issue. Wait a minute. Part of the argument for a stopgap funding measure in Congress. That is not the issue.
But, Speaker, people at home have to make decisions now about what they're going to be doing next year. They're looking at how much money they have, how much something might cost, and they're deciding now.
Tony, we have 3 months for Congress to do its deliberate work. All we're saying is while that work is done on these and other issues, keep the lights on for the American people. The Democrats have made a wild series of counter demands. What they're demanding is to spend $1.5 trillion additional dollars for a 7-week stopgap funding measure. We can't do that. They want to give health care paid for by taxpayers, hardworking Americans, to illegal aliens. We are not going to do that. They want to give $500 million back for left-leaning media organizations paid for by taxpayers.
What he's talking about is funding public broadcasting, dude. Like, so the kids can watch Sesame Street, by the way. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about PBS and NPR, dude. Oh, this country sucks so much dick. Oh, God. We are so mean and so ruthless to so many people. It's just evil maxing. That's all. I feel like that's all Republicans do. And I guess to a certain degree, Democrats do it too. But it's just like, it's so transparent when Republicans are in charge, where they're just like, we're going to fuck the poor. We're going to kill them. We're going to kill them. That's our job. That's our goal. That's why I was voted into office. Why do you think I'm the Speaker of the House? I looked at the situation and I said to myself, we can get more evil. Okay, we've done a lot of evil over there to the rest of the world. And it's brought in tremendous bounty for some of the wealthiest benefactors that keep donating to my campaign. But I thought to myself, how can we help the poor here in America? It's not enough that we kept them down all the way in the global South, as the lefties like to say. But I decided, you know what else is the global South? West Virginia. You know what else is the global South? Georgia, Arkansas, North Carolina. We are going to treat those states like they're also the global South. Okay? After all, I believe in the prosperity gospel, which means that if you're wealthy, that means you're heavenly. You've done the right things, and you're a moral person. And the more wealthy you are, the more moral you are. And of course, I think you know, Tony, the less wealthy you are means the more immoral you are. So you probably deserve not being able to pay for your health care coverage.
Not doing that. They know that. They're playing a political game here, and it's very dangerous for the people.
I hear you on that.
It's quite sad.
All I got to say is transgenders and undocumented migrants, and everybody will believe me.
My name is Vanessa. I'm from Westminster. I dragged my husband up here against his will, but I have to talk about being blind in this terrible Gabe Evans and Donald Trump regime. I feel like the day that he blamed handicapped people for the crash with the helicopter and the plane, and he called out people, including people with no vision, dwarfism, deaf people, etc. I cried. I felt less than a human being in this country for the first time. I went to college, and I have worked my whole life in this country. And I feel like we have to help blind people with being able to use websites and being able to get adaptive equipment that helps us use Braille and speech. With DEI eliminated, that is what's being taken out of schools. That's what's being taken out of businesses. Businesses can discriminate, and they do not have to provide accommodations. And if we want people not to sit around and be worthless, and we want us to use our mind, please, Gabe Evans, stop this DEI crackdown.
Yeah, A is a part of the DEI, accessibility. Obviously, they're not there yet. There's an A in DEI. DEI also has an A, accessibility. They're obviously clamping on that part too. But we haven't evil maxed to a point where like you can openly say that, like fuck the disabled. Like you can kind of say it as, Gabe Evans has. But like when they say fuck DEI, like that's low key what they're saying as well. But the reason why they can't just like openly say it yet, and I say yet because like I think even the most conservative person still feels a little rude when they hear someone straight up be like, oh, you got Down syndrome, fuck you, or oh, you got a disability, fuck you. We're not there yet, but we might be. Maybe next year, maybe next year. The more these guys evil max, the more we have an endless opportunity for new kinds of evil. It's the paradox of Republicans trying to seem civil while acting uncivil. Yeah, but as long as it's done within the confines of the systems, then that kind of incivility or that kind of violence, that kind of incivility and that kind of violence is not seen. What the fuck is this, bro? What the fuck? Elon's children are minors, bro. Oh my God, this dude is fantasizing. Oh God, so gross. So gross, dude. You are disgusting. God damn. I guess that's the next wave of evil maxing is just like being openly.
I hear you on that, and I did ask Senator Warren about some of those subjects in the last hour. I want to get you on the record on this AI sombrero video thing with Leader Jeffries. Everyone's talking about it. He says that the video and the images are racist and bigoted. You've got to work with this individual. Do you see his point of view here? Can you see how he might feel that way?
Hakeem is my friend. We have a great relationship of trust. He's a great colleague. I think he has to lighten up. When you show that you're upset, I get attacked in memes every single hour of every day. I don't react to it. That's what people are trying to get out of you as a reaction. The president was making a joke, okay? And so much has been made out of this. They're acting as if the issue of the day is a battle over memes on social media. His return to American people, young mothers.
Okay, but like your president is the one doing that, okay? Your president is the one doing that, actually. So shouldn't you be more mad at him for doing that if the situation is much more dire, much more serious? Like, what do you mean? Oh, I can't believe these guys are talking about the memes. Like, my president is just a memer. He's a memester. It's like, okay, he's the one doing the memes while 750,000 jobs are potentially threatened threatened to be furloughed. He's the one who also doubled down and said, we're going to fire them at will for funsies because I'm a petulant child. So he's not the one taking this shit seriously at all. The fuck do you mean? And look, for all of my criticisms of like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and them, they haven't even made that big of a deal. They should have never actually sat in the room when they saw those fuck dumbass hats, or at least picked up the hat and chucked it at Donald Trump's face or something. But like, it's ridiculous that they sat in that room with those hats in display so that Donald Trump could make a mockery out of them and belittle them even further. But they haven't made that big of a deal of Donald Trump doing these sorts of little childish shit, things so far. I can't begin to describe the raw contempt and rage this snake oil preacher salesman fills me with. This kind of soft-spoken, polite, prim, and proper asshole is so common down here. You can never catch him in a weak public moment. But they're at clammy meetings on the weekends. I hate Mike Johnson and Scott Jennings more than anyone else in American politics. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they are like that. They're very buttoned up, but they're ginormous pieces of shit, and they're huge liars, And on top of that, they know that Donald Trump is like bad optics. That's the other thing. Like these guys would love to have a Jeb Bush in charge. They just love all of the cuts that Donald Trump represents. They love all of the deregulation that Donald Trump is able to push for. They don't like the optics, and plenty of Republicans who are now never Trump Republicans were so pissed off and so frustrated with Donald Trump and the way he carried himself and the way that he like spat on this massively important position in around the world, really, not even just like in America. You're the leader of the free world, right? Like this is how you behave. This is how you carry yourself. All that shit is obviously, I mean, they hate that too. They hate it too. They just can't say anything about it.
We're dependent upon that nutrition assistance right now. Veterans who need their services. We have suicide prevention programs that are being halted right now. This is serious business.
It is
we should not be talking about sombreros on the internet. We should be talking about the American people's needs.
Okay, that's the president is doing that, man. The president is doing that. I think that's something you got to take up with the big guy. Okay, you're too busy to say anything, but like, you're not wrong. That's not that consequential. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. I've given up. I've given up on looking at that and being like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are we doing? I care more about the cuts to Medicaid that these guys push through.
It is serious business. We've given it extensive coverage today, and we'll continue covering it tomorrow. One additional topic I do want to get your answer on is Representative Grijalva, who won a special election last week in Arizona. She's yet to be sworn in. I know you're not in session, but you've sworn in Republicans out of session. Why not her? Does it have anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, the House is not on the floor doing business this week, but we will do it immediately, early next week, as soon as everyone returns to town. We have to have everybody here, and we'll swear her in. I congratulate her on her win. She's replacing her father, who had a long history here, and she'll be a productive member of Congress. We look forward to that.
All right, Speaker.